What if I told you you can get almost 70 acres of Wi-Fi coverage for a pretty reasonable price? Well, you can with this right here, the Wavlink AX3000 Outdoor Wi-Fi access point. So stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to From Scratch Ranch. Jason here. And if you're watching this video, I'm assuming it's because you want to put a blink camera up in your chicken coop, which means might be like way out there, or a camera in your horse barn so you can keep an eye on your horses, or a camera out at your front gates, a security camera, which might be quite a ways away from your home, and you need Wi-Fi way out there. Well, you come to the right place, because Wavlink just sent me this AX3000 HD9S outdoor Wi-Fi access point, which has incredible range. This is my third one now. I've had the AC1200 I bought and installed on the outside of our Barndominium that we were living in when we first moved out here, and it performed great. I loved it. It worked great. They then, Wavlink, contacted me and sent me an upgrade to that, the AX1800, which had greater range. And I did a video on that had testing the different distances all the way out and the speeds I was getting all the way around my property. Check that video out if you haven't seen that yet. But the AX1800 worked great. Well, now I came into another situation where Wavlink contacted me and wants me to review their new one, the AX3000, which has even greater distance, which I'm super excited about. And it's perfect timing because I wanted to move my access point off the side of the barn, which is located more towards one side of my property, and put it up on one of my light poles that I just installed on our horse riding arena, which is more central to our property up here. And it's still within the limits of the 328 feet of Cat 6 cable that I'm limited to. So I'm good there. But it's more centered on my property and there's no obstructions around it. So I wanted to try it out. And this, I think, is going to be the perfect product to test that long-range Wi-Fi. So let's check out what's inside this box, and I'll tell you all the details about why I like this unit here. All right, let's take a look inside, see what we got here. Okay, first off, the one thing I like about this one is how small and compact it is versus the other one. The other one was probably, I don't know, maybe twice the size, maybe just under twice the size. This one is pretty small. There's instructions, quick start guide, a little template for the screws, everything's in here. Then you've got your antenna. So there's the 6 different antenna, I think it's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6 different antenna. And what's really cool about this one is all the way around, different directions. Now, I don't know why that is. I'm assuming, I don't know. I have no idea. But each one of these is either 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. And I'm hoping that this is going to give me broader coverage. It's omnidirectional antenna. So I think I'm going to, do really well with this. All right, so we got the antenna, which looks like that. Nothing special. And then there's also zip ties, plastic zip ties. Wavlink, famous for their zip ties. Now, the 1200, the AC1200, when I installed that, it had the plastic zip ties like that are in here. And they worked okay on the pole that I had it on. And then the AX1800 came with metal zip ties, and I did not like those at all. I thought they were going to be better because they're metal, stronger maybe. But they were much more difficult to work with, did not hold very well. It was sloppy up there. I didn't like it at all. So I'm glad they went back with the plastic. Now, I don't know how this plastic is going to hold up to the elements over the years. The sun, the UV rays, might be okay. We'll see. I would like to, have a better way of installing it than just zip tying it around a pole. But I could create some kind of, bracket, because it does have the 4 holes in here that you could use screws to, mount this on. But I do have a steel pole I'm going to be mounting this on, so we'll see how that goes. All right, so those are the antenna. And then we've got the accessories, the box of accessories. And within here, you just got a regular Cat 6 cable. You've got the PoE switch here. So this is where this plugs into the wall. It comes with a AC adapter. here that plugs in the wall, plugs into here, and then you plug your Cat6 into one side and then out the other to the access point, and that's PoE is the power over Ethernet, so it provides the power through some of the wires within the Cat6 cable out to the unit itself. So that's pretty awesome, so you don't have to have power out at the unit itself. All right, and we've got the hardware, which includes actually a little wrench too to help wrench that down, but this piece right here, which is just the adapter for when the wire goes up and connects to the unit for waterproofing. Now this unit here is IP67 certified, rated something for waterproofing, so weatherproofing. So it's don't have to worry about the elements. One of the things I do like about this too, besides just the weatherproofing, lightning proof, I guess, or not proof, but it's protected from lightning somehow. I think internally here, it's got some surge protection, not necessarily lightning protection, because if that pole got struck by lightning, I'm pretty sure this thing's going to be obliterated. But maybe from a surge protection from a lightning strike nearby might be built in here. Now, I do have a whole home surge protection on my panel itself because of the light poles and whatnot, so I think I'm doubly okay there. All right, so that's everything that's in the box. What do I like about this unit, or what are some of the things that make this thing cool? Well, the distance. The distance is the big one. 300 meters radius. That's 984 feet radius. And if you do the math, I did the math on this, or I used, Google Calculator. That translates into 69 acres, square acres, which seems outrageous. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that, but it does say that it will go out, past 900 feet radius from this thing. And you know what? I've got plenty to test here, so we're definitely gonna test that threshold out and see if we can hit over 900 feet with this. I would love to be able to put a a Wi-Fi camera, video camera, down on my trails to watch game go by, and be able to connect to it whenever I want, solar, Wi-Fi, and be able to connect, 900 feet away. I can do that on some of my trails with this thing. That's why I'm excited about installing this. All right, before we go to install this thing, just a couple other notes that I want to call out about this bad boy here. This is 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. Separate SSIDs if you need it for cameras or things like that are 2.4 gigahertz specific, or you can switch that little thing over and it will auto detect. So that's great. 3,000 megabits per second. Really incredible speeds for this. I don't think I have that kind of speed coming in, so I'm not worried about maxing this thing out. But 3,000, that's pretty good. Oh, 256 connections to this thing. Now, I know I have a lot of cameras, we have a lot of computers and TVs and phones and everything connected to this thing, but there's nowhere near the 256 that this thing's capable of. But maybe if you have a campground or something like that, that would work for you. So I think that's it. Anything else I'll call out in the future, but I'm excited about testing this out because I want to see if I can get a trail camera set up, about, I think my closest, like my tree stand is about 800 feet from that light pole down in the woods. So we'll see. That's going to be a good test to see. Now there is trees. I don't know how trees are going to block this signal down there. That's going to be a good test. We'll see how it works. Assembling the Wavlink is actually quite easy. You can see here there's labels 5G, 2.4G, 5G, all the way around on where the antennas go. And each antenna is labeled 5G, 2.4G. So you just got to make sure that you use the right antenna in the right spot. And just twist them on nice and tight so it gets that waterproof sealer there kind of compressed. Pretty basic. All right, just like that. Cool. All right, here I got my new Wavlink AX3000. But before I install it in my new permanent location, which is on that light pole like way out there, I want to replace my old AX1800 in that location there using all the same wiring, same everything. Put this one up here and rerun all the speed tests that I did on that one and also the AC1200 that I did, and I compiled all that data. I want to add all the data of this one, all the different distances and the speeds, and see how this one, the AX3000, compares against the other two that I've already tested. If you haven't seen those videos out, check them out. There's some links down in the description below. Man, I forgot how big this thing was. The AX1800 here, that's pretty hefty compared to the new AX3000, which is a lot more compact. I like it. And these rubber antennas too, they're smaller in rubber. Much better. I'm really liking this AX3000 so far. Now let's see how it performs. All right. Get this thing configured and we'll test out the speeds. Okay, now for the setup. Let's see, so we got the two different wavelengths. So I'm gonna go into the one and connect to it. All right, password is admin. We'll change that though. That's how it defaults to, okay. Country, region, United States, time zone. I'm Central Time, which is not listed here, so Mexico City, okay. Then we are gonna put in our new password. This is the admin password, not the password to log into the Wi-Fi. All right, so smart DHCP, we want that on. That's where it's going to automatically detect whether it's the 2.4 gigahertz or the 5 gigahertz. The SSID, we're gonna wanna rename this to whatever you want. I'm going to name it FSR Outdoor Wi-Fi. Okay, and our encryption, yep. And then now we set our password for the Wi-Fi. Okay, if you're connected to the router via Wi-Fi, search for the new setup wireless network name and use the new password to connect and start browsing online. Okay, I mean, that's pretty simple. We'll let this run through its processing. Wait for it to come up. There it is, FSR Outdoor Wi-Fi. We'll select that. And now we're connected. We have Wi-Fi. Now right next to it, we'll run speed tests at the varying distances and record all that and see what we got. That was a lot of walking and a lot of time measuring this all out, but man, I got some really good data here. Just like last time, I took all the same measurements, but I think these speeds are a lot faster and I think the range is quite a bit longer. Now, I'll go over all these, I'll analyze all this towards the end of this video, so I'll compare it when we put it on the permanent location. Also, I'll do the same thing over again. I'll measure all the distances because one of the big reasons I'm doing this is because the barn here is an obstruction. I've got it on the corner of the barn. Now this is in the corner of the property over here, so I don't get a signal anywhere in that direction, right? I only get the signal all that direction. I do want to get a signal down further that way towards our front gate and down our driveway for some cameras down there. So the barn is actually kind of blocking the signal a little bit there. I've had some comments about, we'll put it on a pole higher than the barn. Well, yeah, I mean, that's easier said than done. Now I got a pole out in the horse arena, so I'm gonna put it on there. That'll work. The other dilemma I have here for measuring the distance, especially from this location right here, is this property is kind of like a knob or a dome. And so as it slopes down away, this is kind of the top of the dome here, and it slopes down the mountain. And so as I kind of crest, go over that crest of the line of sight to this thing into the woods, I lose a signal. So maybe higher up over there, I might be able to get further down into the woods. So we'll see, but that's, you know, going that direction. Once I move it out here, I've got plenty of space that's not downhill. So I might be able to get a good line of sight down my driveway and get a true test to almost 900 feet. We'll see if we actually get a signal and how fast that is at 900 feet away. All right, I'm gonna pull down that AX3000 now, and we're gonna go install it on that light pole way out there. You can see that there is a man lift that's parked over there that we're gonna use to get up and attach that to the top of that pole. Now, I ran all the cable already, the Ethernet cable. I got some direct burial shielded outdoor Cat 6 cable. When we were installing all of these light poles, I ran that cable up into that light pole already and did direct burial just using a spade tool that I was able to, you know, separate the ground and lay that cable down about 8 to 12 inches into the ground, all the way around from that pole, all the way around the perimeter of the arena on that side and across the grass here to the corner of the barn here and up the outside and in through where the old cable was coming out. And so that's going into the barn there where my router is at. So what I need to do now is just terminate both ends of that cable. I got all of the supplies to terminate it, the RJ45 jacks, the Keystone jacks, and all the tools necessary to do this from truecable.com. I'll put some links down below in the description. So I need to terminate both sides of that cable so we can plug it into the PoE switch in the router on one end and then the Wavlink on the other end. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that that cable I ran, the direct burial Cat 6 cable, has a limit of 328 feet or 100 meters, and I am under that. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that that specific cable I have, 328 feet, and I'm less than that distance. That's the max you can do, 328 feet with that specific cable that I have. Okay, here that black cable coming in, that's the direct burial Cat 6 inside the barn here, and I've terminated it with a Keystone jack right there. Then I've connected my patch cable that came with the Wavlink into that Keystone jack, and it comes over here where then I've got my PoE switch, and that's being powered up. I got a power strip up here, and that's plugged in there, the AC adapter, and then the other patch cable on the one end that then goes into the router right there. So it's a pretty simple setup. Now we just got to go out back towards the light pole, that end of the Cat 6 cable, and terminate that side, and then we'll test it, see how well it works. All right, I'm out here at my light pole right here. This is a very tall light pole, 23 feet up in the air. If you haven't seen those videos of, we made these light poles from scratch. We welded all this steel and put all these concrete piers in and ran all our own wiring, installed those lights from ledlightingsupply.com. Check that video out. There's a link down in the description below if you haven't seen that. But I want to put this Wi-Fi access point on the top of that light pole up there. I did weld on a specific piece of metal that I'm going to attach the access point to. Now, I've had some comments about the recommended height for these access points, that it needs to be only 8 to 10 feet, recommended by blah, blah, blah. I don't know about that, because my other Wi-Fi access point that I'm replacing is on the corner of the barn over there. It's about 14, 15 feet up in the air, and it works great. And, you know, some of the stuff I've read, you know, the higher the better, because the big dome coverage, you know, the further, you know, away I might be able to get coverage. Now, will it affect my coverage like right below the light pole here? Maybe. I don't know. We'll test it. We'll see. Does 23 feet up in the air help, hurt? We'll test that out. All right, I got my cable, my Cat 6 cable here, all out of the box here, ready to go. So I just need to put the RJ45 connector on here, which I have right here. I've got a bunch of these pass-through RJ45 connectors from truecable.com. That's where I picked those up from. And there's some great videos out there from truecable.com, some tutorials. I'll put some links down below in the description for those videos if you're interested to learn how to do all this, and also all of these tools that are necessary to do this job. So I know I have a shielded cable here with the ground bond here where it's bonded all the way back for electrostatic discharge and whatnot. Disperse that electricity. But the unit itself also has a grounding screw here for the equipment ground. So I have some ground wire here that I'm going to use to tie in to the ground going back to the panel. So that way, any electrostatic discharge go right through there. Yeah, so I'll wire that in. Okay, so first thing I do is put the cap over cable there. Then we got this rubber grommet. It's got a slice in it, so you can put it over. Okay, and then the next adapter part goes in there. Now we can plug it in. There we go. Make sure, yep, I got a blue light. Awesome. We are good to go. Powered up. We'll screw this thing in. Nice and tight so that rubber washer there seals that off. Okay, then we push the rubber grommet up into that little cage there. All right, and then the cap goes over the top and squeezes that cage down around that rubber grommet and makes that nice and weatherproof. Okay, we'll tighten that down with that wrench that came with us with this, and then put the cover plate back on there and we're good to go. We'll test it out. That looks awesome. All right, we're all wired up and fired up, and we got a lot of walking to do to get all of our measurements and collect all of our data for our analysis. So let's get walking. 100 feet. We're gonna do this every 100 feet in many different directions. North, south, east, west, northwest, southwest, east, southeast, southwest. We'll get it all. And here we go, 95, 99, 100. 100 right here. All right. All right, I'm 500 feet away from the access point, way out there beyond the chicken coop, beyond the barn. I mean, it's way out there. And I'm on the edge of the woods here in the corner of this one pasture. So if I go any further, I'm downhill and into the woods, but 500 feet away, and I just recorded a 385 download speed with 110 upload. That's insane. That's awesome. All right, I am 600 feet away in the opposite direction now of what I talked about before. You can see the top of the barn out there. That's really far away, and the access point is right over there somewhere, 600 feet away, and I just recorded a 282 download and a 109 upload, and this is downhill. So I'm having trouble, keeping consistency of a good, signal or a good speed when I'm down a slope like this. But yeah, I just recorded a 282 at 600 feet away. That's awesome. All right, now I am 800 feet away. You can see the top of the house and the top of the barn over there. So I'm up now out of that kind of gully. That's a low-lying area there. And I'm still at 800 feet. I'm getting 69.3 download and 15.4 upload. I'm gonna try 900 next. All right, 900 feet. I am 900 feet. And I just picked up a 60.8 download and 18.8 upload. So, I mean, it's not the strongest speeds, but I'm 900 plus feet out, and I'm still getting a pretty good signal here. Yeah, 900 feet to that access point right there on top of that pole. That's a long way away. 70, almost 70 acres, 70 square acres coverage here. That's awesome. I am 1,000 feet away. You can see the top of my house like way back there. and I got a 20.3 download and a 2.47 upload. Man, this is crazy, 1,000 feet away. It's awesome. All right, I'm in my hunting blind down on the trail near my deer stand. I got a hunting blind out here, and this is the Tidewee hunting blind. It's really cool. You can see out like this, which is awesome, and the deer can't see in. Very, very cool. If you haven't seen one of these, check out the link down below in the description for the Tidewee hunting blinds. So I'm testing my internet speeds out here, my Wi-Fi access point. Unfortunately, I am not getting a signal. I was really hoping I'd get a signal way down here, but I'm about 1,000 feet from the access point, and I'm down the hill, and I'm in the woods, pretty deep into the woods. So I was skeptical it was going to happen. It didn't happen. So maybe though what I can do is use my old AX1800 and put that closer out here if I can figure out how to power it, with PoE, and create a mesh network that will get me closer down into the woods to connect some of my trail cameras to. That would be awesome. So anyways, no go down here. Hey buddy, what you doing? All right. Ooh, there's my tree stand. And I got my feeder down there. If you haven't seen that video, check that out. I'll put a link in the description also. That's the Moultrie feeder, cellular. It's pretty awesome. And here's the hunting blind on the outside. You can't see in. Isn't that cool? All right, I think I've got all my measurements, all the different distances out, all the different angles, and I'm actually really impressed. I got some really good numbers here. I'm gonna put them in the computer, do some analysis, and I'm gonna share those results with you once I get that done. But I think I'm gonna get one more measurement. The one I don't have is up on the lift right next to the access point up there. 23 feet up in the air. I've gotten it down right below it, but nothing like right next to it. I'm just curious, to see what that speed will be. So let's go do that. Okay, finally getting out of the woods here, and you can see way out there the barn and that access point's out there on one of those poles. So you can see we are pretty far away. And this, I think it was around 600 feet or so. And I got some really good speeds that I've got documented here. So, all right. While I head up into the lift here, let's go and check out some of those analytics around the distances and speeds, and then we'll be right back. Check out this data. The orange line is clearly the winner, which is the AX3000 on the light pole. The dark blue line is the AX1800, and the light blue line is the AC1200. Now, I did look at the data for the AX3000 when it was located on the barn as a control to compare to the previous data of the AX1800 and AC1200 that I collected, but the readings were, essentially the same as they are when it's located on the pole. So I'm not really showing that data here separately. Now, I took a lot of measurements. Every 100 feet in 6 different directions, and I did it 3 times. I did this over the course of a few days, and man, did I get my steps in. One of those days, I had over 16,000 steps, which is like 8 miles of walking. So with all these data points in 6 different directions, it was clear that the terrain and obstructions and maybe the wind and the weather was affecting the signal and the speeds and at those extreme distances. So what I did is I only took the top speeds at each distance, regardless of the direction, and averaged those measurements, which helped eliminate any of the anomalies that I recorded. And then, having a direct line of sight to the access point was key to a high speed. So obviously, the flatter the terrain and the clearer the path to the access point, the better speed and distance you're gonna get. Now, as you can see in the data, I was getting around 400 megabits per second download speeds all the way out to around 400 feet before it started to degrade. That's just incredible. Upload speeds, however, were a bit more linear and dropped to 172 megabits per second at 400 feet. What's really incredible is that I did not see a substantial drop-off in download speed until around 800 feet away. I averaged 239 megabits per second download at 700 feet, but when I got to 800 feet away, it dropped to the high 60s. But I even averaged 26 megabits per second download at 1,000 feet, which is just incredible because that distance represents 70 square acres of coverage. My average upload speeds were a bit slower at the longer ranges, but still 25 megabits per second at 900 feet and 4 megabits per second at 1,000 feet. That doesn't seem like a lot, but I mean, it may not be good enough for a 4K video upload. But, you know, a low-res camera could still be effective at 4 megabits per second. So it's super clear that the AX3000 blows away the AX1800 in distance of coverage and speeds. And I can confirm that this thing can get you up to 70 square acres of coverage. With a bit of a qualifier that beyond 700 feet, your results may vary. Oh, and I did capture a bit lower speeds, 23 feet directly below the access point. You know, as we were talking the height of this thing and how it would affect the speeds and the coverage right, you know, below it from that height. But it was still 400 megabits per second download. I mean, compared to 416 at 100 feet away, I would not consider that a major impact on performance, having it up that high. So put it as high as you can. I think it'll work. Wow, you've seen the numbers. This thing right here, this Wavlink AX3000 is it, man. 70 square acres coverage. That's just incredible. Now, granted, you know, 1,000 feet out, you know, on the fringes of the 70 acres, you're not going to get much speed or reliability, but you definitely get a signal out there. You know, 600-700 feet out, you're good to go, I think, based on these numbers. So if you're interested in something like this for your campground, your ranch, your farm, whatever it may be, check out the link down below in the description for Amazon and check out this product. I am affiliate marketer, so I do make a little bit of commission off all the purchases through that link, and it does help the channel. So I'd appreciate it if you did click that link. It doesn't cost you anything more. This was also sent to me for free by Wavlink to review, and yeah, thumbs up, man. I definitely recommend this, the AX3000. And you know, hopefully you like this video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed already, so you can stay up to date on everything we're doing out here at the ranch from scratch. We built all of this from scratch: the house, the barn, the arena, the chicken coops, everything that we've done from scratch. Check that out. So until next time, keep living the dream.